Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a May 2022 budget wrap up using the printable version of the Budget by Paycheck Workbook from the Budget Mom. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. Okay, so here is the monthly spread for May 2022. Pretty much everything is checked off on here. I ended up not contributing more to my May 2022 savings challenges on the 31st because I just didn't make any purchases in cash on these 2 days, so I didn't need to. I did have that my monthly goal was a no spend. I did not do a no spend this month. The end of April was rough for me. I've said it in previous videos that I lost my grandmother, and so the end of April, beginning of May were just rough. And to be totally honest, I wasn't as good about keeping track of my purchases as I went this month. I kind of maybe weekly, and honestly kind of more so like bi-weekly in the beginning, would go onto my checking account and mark everything into my trackers and look at my cash envelopes. So I did track everything. It's just I wasn't doing it kind of as I go like I usually do. And so I definitely have some discrepancies in my budget this month, and I did not have the energy to go back and try and figure them out, to be totally honest. I'm just trying to get this month done and over with, start fresh in June, and hopefully be able to be more on track in June. So I do want to go straight to the monthly budget category breakdown. And so first off, my net worth. I did figure out my net worth for May. I didn't put post-its on the other side of this sheet, so that's why I'm not sharing it with you all, because I do like to keep some of that information private. But just so you all are aware, my net worth increased by $1,673 from April to May. I did not close out my budget at the end of April. That's why there isn't a budget recap here on YouTube, but I did figure out my net worth. So I kept up with figuring out my net worth for April, but I didn't do any of the Where Did My Money Go worksheets for April, and you're going to see that I only kind of partially filled them out for May. So starting with the category breakdown, I didn't figure out my differences or my percentage. I just did not have the energy. Fortunately, I was under budget in a lot of categories. But I did do a lot of spending this month. So under budget with groceries, I spent less than $200. I was over budget with eating out, but honestly, this total of $222.40 is not very accurate, because right at the beginning, no, that's a lie. Halfway through the month, I went out to a large group dinner with some friends, and so it was 3 or 4 of us on the bill, and I just paid it, and then people paid me back, and that's the vast majority of what this $222 is. So that's not really accurate to what I personally spent on eating out. If I take that out, it's actually probably more so closer to $100 for me. So I was more so under budget for myself, but it looks over budget because of that one specific incident. For gas, I was over by $7. Gas prices are still wild, so I'm not surprised. I'm actually impressed that it's not more than that. I think the reason why is because I took a week off of work, and so not going to work that week, not having to travel back and forth to the office that week, I think that's why I wasn't over budget by more. For miscellaneous, I do try to spend under $300, and I did accomplish that. I spent $288.42, which I'm really happy about, but I did have a lot of miscellaneous bills, totaling $1,234.17. Some of this was stuff that came up with a funeral, flowers, a dress, some of the things that I ended up getting reimbursed for, which is why my other income is so high. So this amount being as high as it is, a lot of that does factor out with my other income and just putting things on my card and then getting reimbursed. Savings, I always want to save $3,000, more specifically towards my house savings. Although if you've been watching my recent videos, my priorities in terms of my savings have changed, and now my down payment on my car is my number one priority, and house is below that. But in general, I want to be saving at least $3,000, and I did. I saved over $3,000. I saved $3,151.98, the vast majority of which went towards my sinking funds, which you'll see a little bit later. For utilities, they were kind of on point. I just spent just under $350. Housing, $600. Giving, I didn't do any additional giving this month, which I'm actually a little bummed about. I feel like it was just like I was a little scattered this month. And so if I would have kind of thought about it more, I certainly could have made more giving contributions. And then I did pull from 3 different sinking funds or savings accounts. So I pulled from my holiday sinking fund for Mother's Day. I pulled from my car maintenance sinking fund because I had to get some work done on my car. And then I had to pull from my house savings. It's like, when it rains, it pours. That's kind of where I'm at right now. And that's kind of where I've been at since probably like mid-April. It's just been a season of a lot of sad and frustrating things happening. I'm trying to be positive and look forward and just take it one day at a time. But I did have to loan $2,000 to someone, and I'm not going to get it back. I didn't want to pull it from my emergency fund. I know that's what your emergency fund is for, but I don't have a huge one. I mean, I have over $2,000 in it, but if I would have pulled $2,000 out of that, I would have had less than $1,500. So I didn't want to deduct, I didn't want to take so much out of my emergency fund. So I decided to just pull it from my house savings instead. My house savings is at a point where if I find the house tomorrow, I do have the down payment. And so that's why I ended up pulling it from that account. Obviously, I'm going to try to replace these $2,000 as quickly as possible. I was not able to replace it in the month of May. Not sure if I will be able to in the month of June, but eventually I'll get back up to where I was and beyond that. Money that I'm rolling over from May into June is $628.35. And so if I add all of this together, my total is $9,581.42, but that is off from my total monthly inflow at the top. So my starting balance coming into the month was just under $500. My earned income, which was strictly from my paychecks from my full-time job, and then I think I made maybe about $5 from Etsy this month. And so that would have been included in here. And then other income was me getting refunded for something I returned or reimbursed for something that I purchased. And that's in there. And then I did use a bunch of savings, which is this stuff down here. So all of that together, my inflow was $9,688.05. I know that's hard to read. So those two numbers don't match. I'm actually off by a little over $100, $106.63. And again, I could go back and try to figure out where I'm off. I'm sure I'm either not counting something or counting something twice. I think oh wait, you know what? I don't think it's from that specifically, but I'm just realizing I didn't count this $27 from Panera when I did my eating out. Well, that's part of the 106. I found $27 of it. But anyways, I don't have the energy to kind of like go through this and find where that, more so like 70 something dollars is, $78 or so is. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, overall, I'm not upset about the fact that I was under budget in miscellaneous, under budget in groceries, over budget in savings. I'm not upset about that. I definitely want to get miscellaneous bills down next month, and I will be pulling from sinking funds next month, but hopefully won't have any unexpected things where I have to like pull out a chunk of money like I did this month, like this $2,000. So didn't figure out the difference, didn't figure out my percentage of monthly inflow. Moving on to the monthly debt and savings breakdown, my only debt is my student loans currently until I actually purchase my vehicle. And so I'm not filling this out because I'm not paying on them right now. With regards to my savings, I saved $3,151.98. And for my income, it's a little different than your inflow. You're not going to count the savings that you use. So it's $7,033.17, which means I saved almost 45% of my income for the month of June, which I'm really, really happy about. As I said, the vast majority of that went to my sinking funds. As you can see, I really didn't even put $1,000 to my house savings. Part of the reason why this doesn't really line up with what I wanted to put towards my house savings, if you watch my budget with me for this month, is because of other expenses that came up. That $2,000 was not the only thing that I had to loan to someone in the month of May. And so I pulled $2,000 from my savings, but I pulled a lot of other money just from my paychecks. And so total, I was only able to put $678.98 into my house savings this month. Again, it is not my number one priority right now anymore, so I'm okay with that as long as I'm putting what I want to be putting towards my car maintenance, towards my down payment, my car down payment sinking fund, which I have been able to. And so sinking funds, I put over $2,000 for the month. I put $210 towards my 2022 savings challenges, $82 towards the 52-week challenge, $50 towards the $5 challenge, and $119 towards my emergency fund. So definitely not upset with the way that everything broke down with regards to my savings, and it definitely aligns with where my goals are at right now. Lastly, we have the spending comparison, which is not filled out. And the reason it's not filled out is because I didn't close out my budget last month. So I don't know any of this info for April. I do have my spent total for May. I didn't figure out the percentage. I think I might go back and do that so that in June I can actually fill out my comparison, but we'll see how much energy I have between now and June. As you can tell, it's just been a wild month. Oh, my house phone's ringing. Hang on a second. Okay, sorry about that. My house phone went off. But as you can tell, things were a little hectic in the month of May and, from the end of April into the month of May. And so this recap is just very different than my usual recaps. It's clearly not as complete. I genuinely just did not have the energy to try to go back and find my errors, to figure out everything from April to do my spending comparison. So again, I am hoping that in June, things will be a little bit more back to normal with regards to my recaps, but I tried to do this just to kind of give myself an idea of what my spending was like in May. I think it's important to know that, to have that information. And so again, with regards to my goals, things are okay. I'm keeping on track with that. But I definitely want to try to get my miscellaneous bills category kind of managed a little bit better. Definitely want to keep an eye on my gas category to see if I need to increase that budget. And so I'm getting by. I'm getting through. May was rough. Hopefully June will be better. If you all have any questions or comments about this this budget recap, please don't hesitate to put them down below. If this is the first one of my recaps you're watching, I highly recommend you watching some other ones. I do have a playlist with all of my monthly budget recaps, and I definitely recommend watching a different one just to get a better idea of what they're normally like. But as always, everyone, I hope you're all being safe. Bye-bye.